If you've ever felt like you've given your all in friendship or even just any relationship and you still left feeling unseen, unprotected, and even betrayed, this video is for you. Maybe you were the loyal friend or just the deep one, the one who held everybody's emotions in the room. And maybe this could have been your role within your family. I get it. You carry everything for everyone else and you feel everything, but still you feel very alone in that. I get it because I've lived it. My name is Zaporia, and for a long time, I believed that money, intellect, and being emotionally responsible made me a better friend. But underneath all that, I was actually shrinking. I was overgiving and trading my voice for belonging again and again. I am the founder of OMNIA, where we help a high achieving women rewrite their emotional blueprint and finally experience freedom in how they relate to money, relationships, and themselves. I've chased happiness and titles and friendships and love, but nothing truly shifted until I had to rewrite that original friendship room, which is the one that I had with myself. And I didn't even know that I was reenacting old friendship wounds from my past. So for me, that wound began not only with my sister, but with myself. She was my first friend, and our dynamic quietly taught me about my needs, and not in a good way, because I felt like my needs didn't matter unless it made space for someone else. Today, I'm going to walk you through the exact process I use and teach my clients to collapse these toxic friendships and patterns and finally call in the relationships and that are rooted in mutual respect, trust, and in alignment. So first, we have to number one, the first step is naming the loop. So what beliefs keep showing up in your friendships? So for me, I had to recognize, what do I first think about people when I first meet them? And one of those things is, am I going to dim their light if I shine? Or will they betray me if I speak my truth? Different things like that. And once I'm able to identify or name the loop, I identify the memory anchor. So I go back to a point in time in my past where I felt this way, where this belief started. And when I do that, I'm able to imagine that in my brain, right? So I have this scene in my brain, and I have that scene or that memory where I first encountered this belief. I go back in as who I am today, as my higher self, and I give that person or that little me or that past version of me a what I wish would have happened, or what kind of support I wish I had in that moment. And then I send love to her in that moment and tell her, yes, this moment is where you should have held your ground, or you should have spoke up more, or you should have stood in your truth instead of betraying yourself. And I reimagine the ending, because if you think about it, our imaginations are the only thing that we have when we are reflecting on a memory. And if we create with what we imagine, why can't you go back and reimagine the past? Why can't you go back and rewrite that so that your present feels different now? And that's why I feel like time is not real, but it's subjective. It's not like you can look at what happened to you in your past and be anchored by that, or you can recreate it and be anchored by it in a different way. So anchoring meaning you're rooted rather than anchoring meaning that you're being held back by something. So as I reimagine that ending, I'm also going in to install a new belief. So the new belief will be, my friendships are rooted in loyalty, truth, and in reciprocity. That way, I have rewritten that story. I've rewritten the rules for my life at that point. Now I can go and meet someone new and have a totally different impression of that person and that reality of experiencing that person, instead of thinking, oh, she'll automatically be da da da, or oh, she'll probably do this if I do this, because that is what's weighing us down and keeping us in shackles. Yes, the things that happen to us are supposed to make us less naive, but they're not supposed to protect us so much that we become a cage in it. And that's really the final step, is that you live in a new pattern. You created new standards, and you say no with love, and you say no, or you can encounter people with the discernment that you gained from your previous situations, but also with how you wish you would have showed up in that moment. Because a lot of us, when we're experiencing these things, especially if you're highly intuitive, you knew in that moment what you were experiencing and what you should have said. And when you get that gut feeling that you should have just gone with your gut, or said what you said with your chest, say what you want to say with your chest, it's almost like you in that moment you knew something was up and you didn't speak up about it, or in that moment you knew you should have said X, Y, and Z and you didn't. And that's the purpose of going back in time with your higher self and giving that situation all that it needed, blessing it, and moving forward in your new reality in the now, what you have right now going on with more purpose and discernment. Well, actually, I think that's just called wisdom. So I want you to ask yourself, what was your first friendship betrayal? Was it with someone else? Was it with a family member? And what was the first time where you abandoned your voice to be accepted? If this resonated with you, make sure to subscribe. And if you're ready to go deeper, I'll drop my free devotional in the description because real wealth isn't just money, it's self worth. And you deserve to be loved without shrinking first.